Good evening. My name is Jennifer Stickles, and I'm going to read a short story for you tonight called An Enlightening Tale by Fernando Sorrentino. It's amazing all the little things that happen in life that can make it worse or better, but every day there seems to be that different twist or turn that happens to us. This was a very honest beggar. One day he knocked at the door of a luxurious mansion. The butler came out and said, "Yes, sir. What do you wish, my good man?" The beggar answered, "Just a bit of bread, for the love of God." "I shall have to take it up with the lady of the house." The butler consulted with the lady of the house, who very miserably answered, "Jeremiah, give that good man a loaf of bread, one only, and, if possible, one from yesterday." Jeremiah, who was secretly in love with his employer, in order to please her, sought out a stale loaf of bread, hard as a rock, and handed it to the beggar. "Here you go, my good man," he said, no longer calling him sir. "God bless you," the beggar answered. Jeremiah closed the massive oaken door, and the beggar went off with the loaf of bread under his arm. He came to a vacant lot where he spent his days and nights. He sat down in the shade of a tree and began to eat the bread. Suddenly he bit into a hard object and felt one of his molars crumble to pieces. Great was his surprise when he picked it up. Together with the fragments of his molar, a fine ring of gold, pearls, and diamonds. "What luck!" he said to himself. "I'll sell it and I'll have money for a long time." But honesty immediately prevailed. "No," he added, "I'll seek out the owner and return it." Inside the ring were engraved the initials J.X. Neither unintelligent nor lazy, the beggar went to the store and asked for the telephone book. He found that in the entire town there existed only one family whose surname began with X, the Oxfania family. Filled with joy for being able to put honesty into practice, he set for the home of the Oxfania family. Great was he amazed when he saw it was the very house from which he had been given the loaf of bread containing the ring. He knocked on the door. Jeremiah emerged, asking him, "What do you wish, my good man?" The beggar answered, "I found this ring inside the loaf of bread you were good enough to give me a while ago." Jeremiah took the ring and said, "Well, I shall have to take this up with the lady of the house." He consulted with the lady of the house, and she, happy and fairly singing, exclaimed, "Lucky me! Here we are with this ring I had lost last week while I was kneading the dough for the bread. There are my initials, J.X., which stand for my name, Josiah Xenophon." Another moment of reflection, she added, "Jeremiah, go and give that good man whatever he wants as reward, as long as it's not very expensive." After a moment of reflection, she added, "Jeremiah, go and give that good man whatever he wants." Jeremiah returned to the door and said to the beggar, "My good man, tell me what you would like in reward for this kind act." The beggar answered, "Just a loaf of bread to satisfy my hunger." Jeremiah, who was still in love with his employer, in order to please her, sought out a loaf of bread, hard as a rock, and handed it to the beggar. "Here you are, my good man. God bless you." Jeremiah shut the massive oaken door, and the beggar went off with the loaf of bread under his arm, came to the vacant lot in which he had spent most of his days and nights. He sat down in the shade of a tree and began to eat the bread. Suddenly he bit into a hard object and felt another of his molars crumble to pieces. Great was his surprise when he picked up, along with the fragments of his second broken molar, another fine ring of gold, pearls, and diamonds. Once more he noticed the initials J.X. Once more he returned the ring to Josemaria Xenophon, and as a reward received a third loaf of bread, in which he found a third ring, and again returned, and for which he obtained as a reward a fourth loaf of bread, in which from that fortunate day until the unlucky day of his death the beggar lived happily and without financial problems. He only had to return the ring he found inside the bread every day. Thank you.